came, the lady from Tanzania that I was doing work with, and she told a story about the Maasai tribe and how their rite of passage for men is, for them to eventually kill a lion. I don't know if that's still the thing, but that's kind of the story she told. And she was like, this is James' rite of passage. And I was like, all right, okay. I guess that works. And so May 17th at around 11 a.m., I began that was day one of walking and started off. The first 2 days, I was still in close proximity to New Jersey. And so my parents planned to pick me up after the first 2 days. And by far the first day and day two were probably some of the hardest days of the trip itself. Because those are the moments where, I'm still close to home. I can quit if I want to. It's also a heat wave these first 2 days. It's about 98 degrees. I didn't start day one until the pinnacle of the heat wave itself. And I also haven't figured out my personal routine. If anyone here ever has a plan to do a very long backpacking trip, whether 2, 3, or 4 days long, or even something even longer, you adopt a routine very quickly. You know when you're waking up, you know what you're eating, you have everything's planned out kind of to the T. And so as I was starting, I just was going too fast. It was extremely hot. I had no idea how I actually planned to tackle all these hills I was facing. That portion of New Jersey is extremely hilly. I was getting very nervous being on a road that had no shoulder. I really didn't know kind of what I was doing. I was just looking at my phone and following a green line. I remembered, and the other big thing is that I didn't know how my body dealt with heat yet. I didn't know the telltale signs of how do I know I feel sick? How much can I actually push myself? And those were discovered as the trip went, but for those moments I really had no idea. And there was this one particular moment, I want to say 11 or 12 miles in, where I had to stop because I practically couldn't breathe. I sat down on someone's front lawn. A school was right next to it, and everyone was leaving school, and buses were passing me. I was right at a light, so all the kids were staring at me, and I was just downing a whole bottle of water, and just felt so sick after that, and just really didn't think I could continue to go on. I kind of recuperated, kind of kept myself going. I was eating very small amounts of food very continuously to kind of always keep something in my stomach as I walked. And after about 20 miles, my parents, they met me at where we agreed upon around 6 p.m. They picked me up, brought me back home, and I just sat on the couch, curled into a ball, thinking, what am I doing? Day two was very similar. Luckily I was able to start at 7 a.m., so it was much earlier. Kept on going, and I stopped at this point where my dad was supposed to meet me, where it was the Delaware River. You had New Jersey on one side, PA on the other side, and I knew the next day I'd be crossing that bridge and pretty much saying goodbye to my family for a very long time. And so very quickly, my dad picked me up, brought me back home. I looked at all the gear that I had, realized I had way too much, and just started getting rid of things. I don't need this book, don't need 3 pairs of clothes, I need just 2. Got rid of a pound bag of peanuts. Just whatever I think I didn't actually need, I got rid of, to try and save as much weight as possible. If anyone's doing a very big backpacking trip soon, typically what the rule of thumb is, 1 pound in your backpack is about 5 pounds on your feet. So you kind of use that as leeway. And I remember, day 3 at 6:30 or 6 o'clock, my dad and I left to go back to this bridge, and that was the moment where pretty much said goodbye to my dad. My mom wasn't with me, crossed the bridge, and was kind of continuing on to my next portion of the trip, when crossing to PA and finished my very first state.